All right, so everyone knows ChatGPT by now, right? You've probably played around with it a bit, I'd imagine.
Definitely making waves, that's for sure.
It is. And OpenAI, the company that made it, well, they haven't been resting on their laurels.
No, they have not.
They just launched a search engine that's built right into ChatGPT.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. That's what we're going to be diving into today.
Looking forward to it.
We've got two articles, one from CNBC and another from VentureBeat.
Right.
And they're both about this new search engine, this launch, and kind of what it might mean for, like, the future of search. So, pretty interesting stuff.
Sounds like it.
It is. It's a bold move, right?
Yeah.
I mean, ChatGPT is going from being just a chatbot to, like, potentially a Google competitor.
Yeah. I mean, that's taking on a giant, that's for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
So how does it work? Well, it's not like the usual search engines where you type in keywords and you get like a million blue links.
Right.
It's more like you ask a question,
Oh, okay.
like you would ask a friend, like just plain English.
Gotcha.
And then ChatGPT actually goes and finds the answer using real-time info from the web.
That's pretty cool.
It is. So it's like, imagine you're like, oh man, what's the score of the Celtics game?
Yeah.
And then boom, it just tells you right there in the ChatGPT window.
You don't have to go to ESPN or Google it.
You don't have to go anywhere. You just get your answer right away. It's like
Oh.
instant gratification.
I love that.
And it's not just sports scores. The CNBC article mentions stock quotes,
Okay.
news updates,
Wow.
even the weather,
All in that conversational style.
all in that conversational style, which I really like.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is, like, how do they make sure that the information is accurate?
That's a great question, especially when you're talking about pulling from all over the web.
Yeah, and for that, they've partnered with some pretty big names in news,
Mm-hmm.
like the Associated Press, Axel Springer, Fox Media.
Those are big ones.
They are big ones. And basically what they're doing is they're feeding their content directly into ChatGPT Search.
So you know you're getting info from a reliable source.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you're curious, like, where did this information actually come from?
Yeah.
There's actually a button right there in ChatGPT.
Oh, wow.
You click it, and you can see the original article or, like, the website where it came from.
Oh, that's good. Transparency is key with all this AI stuff.
I think so, too. OpenAI is definitely trying to address the whole concern about AI systems just, like, grabbing content and using it without asking.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so both articles mentioned that this whole search thing is powered by something called GPT-4o. Have you heard of that?
GPT-4, yes. GPT-4, oh, no. What's the O for?
That little O is for online.
Oh, okay.
And it means that this specific version of GPT-4, it's designed to interact with the live web.
Ah, I see.
So it's constantly updating its knowledge base.
Real-time info.
Real-time information, yep.
So it's basically like having a superpower research assistant working in the background.
I like that analogy. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Pulling up the latest data, whatever you need.
Exactly, exactly. But all this, it's got to have Google a little worried, right?
I mean, they've been the king of search for so long. This is definitely a challenge.
It is. CNBC and VentureBeat both kind of highlighted this, like how this is a potential threat to Google's dominance.
Yeah, and I think they offer a different approach, too. It's more conversational. I think it's more personalized. And now with this real-time information, it's way more competitive.
Yeah, I mean, CNBC even said that Alphabet's stock price dipped a little bit after they made this announcement.
Oh, wow.
So investors are definitely watching this whole thing very, very carefully.
Makes sense. This is like, reminds me of those big shakeups we've seen with tech before.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like how Netflix changed how we watch TV, how smartphones changed how we communicate.
Yeah, big disruptions.
Big disruptions. So the question is ChatGPT Search going to be the next big disruption? You know, how we search, how we think about information, how we interact with information, you know, all those things. It's a really fascinating question.
It is. And it's one that we're going to keep digging into as we continue our deep dive. But before we do, there's one more thing that I think is really interesting about this whole story. And it's OpenAI's plan to develop their own AI chips.
Oh, wow. Their own chips.
Yeah, their own chips.
Okay.
And VentureBeat really emphasized that this could be a game changer, especially in the context of search.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear more about that.
Let's dive into it.
Their own chips, huh? That's a bold move that could really shake things up. But before we get into that, I kind of want to get a feel for what it's actually like to use this thing.
Yeah, the articles talk a lot about how it works, but I'd love to know, like, what's the actual experience?
Okay, so imagine you're in ChatGPT, right? Like you're using it like you normally would.
Yeah.
But now there's this search bar right at the top.
Okay.
And you can either type in your question or even just say it out loud.
Okay.
And ChatGPT just takes care of the rest.
Okay, so let's say I'm researching a company like Tesla, right? Maybe I'm thinking about investing.
Yeah.
How would ChatGPT Search handle that?
You could say something like, what's the latest news on Tesla stock?
Okay.
And boom, ChatGPT pulls up like a nice concise summary from all the recent articles.
Okay.
Maybe even some like financial data points, current stock price, things like that, all organized, easy to understand.
So it's not just throwing facts at you, it's actually like making sense of it all.
Exactly. And remember those sources buttons we talked about?
Yeah.
You can click those to see the actual articles, dig a little deeper if you want to.
So it's not about just blindly trusting the AI. It's like you have that option to double check if you're curious.
Absolutely.
It's cool. Now, both articles mention that this new search feature is rolling out to the paid subscribers first, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty common move in the tech world. Makes the subscription more attractive.
Yeah.
And that revenue, well, it helps OpenAI keep developing, keep improving the technology, you know?
Right, right. So they need that money to keep the lights on, basically.
Exactly.
But don't worry. For everyone who's using the free version of ChatGPT,
Yeah.
OpenAI has said that they do plan to make the search available to everyone eventually. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. Making it accessible.
Yeah, I think so too. So it seems like they're serious about this whole search thing.
They're going for it.
They are. But speaking of serious, let's talk about that plan to create their own AI chips.
Oh, yeah. VentureBeat was really making a big deal about that.
They were. I mean, they were saying it could be a game changer, especially when it comes to search.
I mean, think about it. These powerful AI models, they need a ton of computing power to run, right?
Yeah.
OpenAI right now, they rely heavily on NVIDIA.
Yeah.
They make the leading AI chips, but those things are not cheap.
So they're paying a premium to keep this whole AI engine going.
Big time. And when you've got something as complex as ChatGPT Search, with all that real-time data, those costs can really add up.
Yeah. Got to keep the servers humming.
Exactly. But if they can develop their own chips specifically designed for their AI models, they could save a ton of money.
Potentially like billions in the long run, right?
Right. It's like they're building their own power plant.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah, they become less reliant on other companies.
More independent.
Exactly. And remember, VentureBeat mentioned that OpenAI is expecting some big losses this year.
Really?
Despite their revenue. And those losses, a big chunk of that is those computing costs.
Oh, wow. So controlling their own chips, that could be the key to actually being profitable in the long term.
It could be. It's almost like a declaration of independence, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, we're not just playing the AI game, we're building our own playing field.
That's a power move.
It is. It's a big statement. It tells their competitors, look, we're here to stay.
We're not messing around.
Exactly. And we're willing to invest big to make it happen.
But is it going to work?
Yeah.
I mean, building your own chips, that's a huge undertaking.
Yeah, that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Only time will tell if it's a brilliant move or a big mistake.
It's a gamble, that's for sure.
It is. But at the end of the day, it's the users that are going to decide.
Right, right.
Will people actually like this new way of searching?
Yeah, will they trust the AI?
Will they trust the answers? You know, all those things. And it all comes down to accuracy, speed, the overall experience. You know, does it actually work for people?
Right, so it's not just about the tech itself, it's about how it fits into people's lives.
Exactly. And speaking of people's lives, we should probably talk about the potential impact on jobs.
Right, right. AI getting more and more powerful, there's always that worry about robots taking over.
Yeah, it's like the classic sci-fi scenario, right? The robots are coming for our jobs.
It's a valid concern, I think. But if you look back at history, like when new tech comes along, it usually changes the jobs people do. It doesn't always just eliminate them altogether.
Right. Like, think about the car.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of put an end to horse-drawn carriages.
Yeah.
But then it created a whole bunch of new jobs in the auto industry, you know, making cars, selling them, fixing them, all sorts of things.
Right, like mechanics, salespeople, designers.
Exactly.
So it's not really about being afraid of the robots. It's more about like being ready to adapt.
Right.
Learning those new skills that are going to be in demand in this new world.
That's key. And that's where things like retraining programs, you know, upskilling initiatives, those become so important.
Yeah, like helping people make those transitions, get ready for whatever's coming next.
Exactly. Because it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about how we as a society, how we adapt and evolve along with it.
All right, so let's put on our futurist hats for a second here.
Okay.
What are some of the long-term effects of this whole ChatGPT search thing? Where could this actually lead?
Well, one thing that pops into my mind is education.
Okay.
Imagine students having access to like a personalized AI tutor that can answer any question they have. Explain complicated ideas in a way that makes sense to them, tailor the whole learning experience to their needs.
It's like having a 247 teacher
Right.
right in your pocket.
Exactly. Exactly. And it could completely change how we learn,
Yeah.
making knowledge way more accessible, more engaging for everyone.
But what about teachers? I mean, are human teachers going to become obsolete?
I don't think so. I see AI more as a tool, something that can enhance what human teachers do,
Oh.
not replace them. Teachers can use AI to personalize their lessons, give better feedback, and free up their time so they can focus on things that AI can't do, like critical thinking, creativity, social emotional learning, those human skills.
So it's not AI versus humans. It's more like AI working with humans.
Exactly. This idea of AI and humans collaborating, that goes way beyond education.
Oh, yeah.
You see it in healthcare. AI is helping doctors diagnose patients, plan treatments, even in surgery.
It's like having an AI doctor by your side.
Right. Helping you make the best decisions. It's all about humans and AI working together, each one playing to their strengths.
So we've got AI potentially changing education and healthcare. What other industries or just parts of our lives could this transform?
Think about anything that really relies on information,
Right.
gathering it, analyzing it, making decisions based on it. So research, journalism, finance, even government.
So lawyers using it to look at legal cases?
Yeah.
Journalists using it to fact-check their stories? Politicians using it to figure out the effects of different policies?
Exactly. It's like giving everyone a superpower.
Yeah, an AI superpower.
Right. It's like an AI Swiss Army knife for anyone who works with knowledge, helping them work smarter, be better informed, and get better results. And as the technology keeps improving, I think we're going to see even more creative ways to use it, stuff we can't even imagine right now.
It's both exciting and kind of scary at the same time.
It is. It is.
But we've talked about some of the downsides, potential bias, the need for us to keep thinking critically, the possible impact on jobs.
Okay.
What else should we be thinking about as AI gets more powerful and more common?
There are always challenges with new technologies. I think one thing to watch out for is becoming too reliant on AI. Like we don't want to get so used to having these tools that we forget how to think for ourselves.
Right. Like
Yeah.
if you rely on GPS for every trip, even the ones you know really well, you might get there faster,
Yeah,
but you might miss out on seeing something new or just enjoying the journey.
exactly. It's all about finding the balance, using AI to make us better, but not letting it do all the thinking for us.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into ChatGPT Search,
Mm.
what's the main takeaway for our listeners? What do you want them to remember?
I think the most important thing is to realize that this is just the start. ChatGPT Search, it's a powerful tool, but it's still pretty new. We're just beginning to understand what it can do.
Yeah, like we're at the beginning of the story.
Exactly.
It's both exciting and a little bit overwhelming to think about all the ways AI could change the world in the next few years.
It is, and it's up to all of us to make sure AI is used for good, to make sure it empowers people, helps us connect with each other and understand the world better.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So to everyone listening, stay curious, keep learning, and get involved. The future of AI, it's in our hands.